Hi, we are 2 months away to the Olympic Games, 1 month and a half, and we are here with Constança Kendall, a equestrian sporter and also a student from journalism. Hi, Constança, how are you today?
Hi, teacher. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We are glad to have you here. Let's start with your beginnings. How did your passion to the sport begin?
Well, I started riding and interacting with horses when I was 3 years old, and it was my mother who started all of it because she always liked horses as animals. And she told me that one day she decided to go for a walk with me and took me to some stables around our house in Portugal. And she thought that maybe I would like them, and she was right because I've never stopped since then.
I have had like experiences in when sometimes like it's difficult to ride horses, how difficult it's for you and how to manage that communication with the horse.
Well, I guess each horse is different. They all have different personalities, just like us. And obviously they don't speak. So the trick is to listen and observe and create a bond with them. So eventually you can learn to read them and, well, better interact with them and work together.
Okay, and we are talking about the challenges. What are other challenges that a equestrian athlete can present?
Well, I'd say obviously also again each horse is different, so it's a bit hard to get to know each horse and how to create a bond with them, and some you don't get along with, others you do really well, and that's hard because it takes time. But also I'd say for me personally, it's more the mental side of the game and the competitions to keep the flow state, keep the optimum competition level. That's a bit hard for me, but I'm learning and hopefully I'll be better.
And how does an athlete like you balances their time between school training and competitions?
Well, honestly, I'm still learning that myself, because I noticed a very clear difference between competing when I was in high school, which my schedule was much more flexible, and obviously the subjects were a bit easier too, than in university where everything's a bit more harder. But I think I try to stay organized, and if I need to spend 1 more hour studying and I'll be 1 hour late for training or the other way around, I try to compensate and see how it goes.
And for example, what kind of role did your family plays like for the life of an athlete?
Well, my family is very connected to tennis, and so they have experience with, well, my brothers playing tennis and my cousins, but not so much with horse riding. So we kind of learned everything together and the competition side of it, which was nice. And they helped me a lot by being there when I need them to be, but also giving me my space to learn and to do my own thing. So yeah, they help me up after every fall, but they also give me my space.
You can tell us a little bit in what competitions do you participate so the audience can uh, get know more about you.
Well, I compete in show jumping, the jumping discipline of equestrian, and I had only competed in Portugal, mostly in national competitions and a few internationals. And now that I moved here to Spain, I do the same. And yeah, I compete in the 120, 130 classes this year. Last year, I started doing the small Grand Prix in Portugal, national level, which were 135. And yeah, now trying to get back to that level again.
And how do you see the sport in general compared Portugal to Spain? In which one you have feel like there's more competition?
I think the sport's very good in both, but I do notice a significant difference from Spain to Portugal. I feel like in Spain, because it's a much bigger country, we have much more people, many more shows than in Portugal. Like every week we can go to a different place, and here in the north of Spain we have quite a lot, quite close to us, which is very good. And yeah, I think that maybe it's more competitive here in Spain, but it's very nice.
And like, what have been your best results so far?
So far this year, in February, I went to the south of Spain to an international competition called Sunshine Tour, and I've got some good placings in the 120 class. I got an 11th place, a 6th place, and a 3rd place out of 140 riders. 130, 140, depending on the week, but I was very happy.
You can tell us like an anecdote or with your friends from the sport or something that has happened that you remember from the competitions.
Um,
Or a happiest moment, do you remember?
well, my happiest moment was last year in June when I jumped my first small Grand Prix, and I was very happy because I finished, I think, top 10 again, and I was very, very happy. And when I got my first horse when I was 12 years old, yeah, that was also a very, very special moment. But I try to be happy with every small goal, whether in trainings or competitions. Each time I accomplish a small goal, I try to be happy.
And how like an athlete stays focused when the results are not like as they expected?
Well, I feel like in my sport it's a little bit harder. I don't know, I'm biased, but I think it's a little bit harder because we deal with another being, with another brain, with that has emotions, has things they like, they don't like, has good days and bad days. So it's a bit, and they don't speak, so it's a bit complicated because sometimes it's our fault, sometimes it's their fault, usually it's our fault. So when we don't have the results we expected, usually being our fault, I try to analyze it and to see what went wrong. How can I do it better? And then it's not the end of the world. You'll get there eventually, and yeah.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. And I said like at the beginning that we are like 1 month and a half away from the Olympic Games. You can tell us a little bit, not all the rules, but like the basics in order so like the audience can get familiar to the sport.
Okay, so basically this is very interesting because it's the only sport, Olympic sport, that men and women compete against each other. And we have 3 disciplines. We have jumping, dressage, and eventing. And jumping is the one I do. And basically the idea is you need to go as fast as possible without knocking any of the obstacles down. Then you have dressage, which is a series of movements, and it's about elegance and doing the movements together. Doing the movements together with the horse. And basically you have judges, and they judge you on the way you do them, how well you do them, how well you execute these movements. And then lastly, you have the eventing, which is basically the equestrian triathlon, which includes jumping, dressage, and then cross country. And cross country is basically a long course of solid jumps and some water obstacles, and you have to complete that too. And yeah, and basically each discipline offers 2 gold medals, one for the individuals and one for the team events.
Perfect. So Constanza, was a great time to have you here. Do you have something else or a tip you can send to those young athletes that want to become even a sporter in equestrian or any other sport?
Um, well, I'd say keep the focus, and all of us have bad days, so keep going, I guess.
Okay, so it was great to have you here. And well, that was the interview with Constanza, like previously, and we are ready to begin the Olympic Games. Nice to have you here. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you.